Hey, folks. Thanks again. Why, thanks again. Thank you for joining this episode of Beard Bytes. You know, we've had a couple episodes. Right now, we are on episode 12, but the cops. For context, I usually we don't run the intros by each other. We're like, yo, let's just do it live and get a raw reaction. But I was like, I have one, but I don't know if it's gonna work. And he's like, let's hear it. And he's like, that'd be great, but like we gotta bleep you out because the YouTube algorithm they don't like that for some reason. So,
Correct. They do not. But
because they like cops. Kamala Harris support.
Well, yeah, let's get political.
We have to get all the AdSense buzzwords in, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Elon
have
Musk, Doge,
Elon
crypto,
Musk, Tesla, Ukraine,
Hawk Tua,
yeah,
Palestine.
What else? Pepsi Super Bowl commercial. Or Super Bowl halftime. Okay, whatever.
Israel. How about that one? That one's a good one, right? That one will be.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I said it. Now what? Gonna cry.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. On the side, I said I wasn't going to do this, but so I'm kind of like I'm gonna preempt this whole thing. Usually we're like, oh, what do you play this week? Okay, look, we played a lot of Astrobot to the point that like the X button on my PlayStation 5 controller is like damp. So I have to. Okay, not damp, but like it's like squishy. It does not feel crisp when you press a button.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Damp is not the right word for that.
I was trying to think indented or something. Like it does not feel like a crisp button press.
Mm-hmm,
so I opened up the controller, and this freaking controller is trying to suicide itself every time I spin it. All the pieces fly everywhere. So I'm like doing Legos on the side while we're recording this episode. But yeah, I mean,
speaking of Astrobot, what'd you play / watch this week?
God, man, why is it so robotic? God damn, bro, like an Astrobot. No. Okay, honestly, he said the word. I've been playing a lot of Civilization on PC. Civ 7. It released on Monday. Thankfully, I was gonna buy it early, but damn, this game I have opinions on. But I am playing on on our family share Steam share account.
Yes.
Or share program library. There's 2 copies, and one of our friends does not. He buys games but does not get on. We love the guy like as a person, not just because we're getting free games, but so he got the early access and playing that, and I have opinions on it. Actually, let me see how many hours I got. We got damn bro, 8 hours. 8 hours in the game.
That's pretty good.
You know what's actually funny? So these changed the structure. If folks don't know, these changed the structure of Civilization. Where like at super high level, you're not racing to get to the highest age. There's only 3 fixed ages, and you can get winning victory points within each age. So yeah. I only play up to the first age, and then I tap out.
Okay.
Just because I'm like I don't know, some of the changes they made to how the game works, I'm not a fan of.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I don't want to say rant. I should probably rant about the game, but I probably need to give context to what's going on. But also, I'll open the floor for you as well, because I haven't really been watching much. I just watch. I'm supposed to be watching Severance later. Episodes drops on Thursdays.
I'm an episode behind.
A great show. You're an episode behind? Oh, dude.
Yeah, I need to watch episode 4.
Watch, bro. Yeah. TikTok is gonna spoil Actually, TikTok probably spoiled the episode for you. You better just watch.
Dude, it's close. Like I saw, I didn't see anything, but I saw oh, here's like how the intro relates to the news, and I was like, nope. I just immediately scrolled off because it was really close.
Oh, interesting. No, dude, they're like, I don't know how TikTok does it, but it just knows what I just watched. And it'll just say, oh, hey, did you just see this thing? And then it just get hyper specific with what it's showing, man. It's
Yep.
I mean, I guess it's great, but it's not great.
The algorithm's so tuned in.
Yeah, man.
What did I play? I played Civ 7, played about 16 hours of it. I bought the early edition, or rather, I was fortunate to get it for a cheaper price. And then I also played Astrobot, watched season 2, episode 3 of Severance, and I also played Lightyear Frontier. Start at the top.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna be honest. I completely forgot to play that game.
It's fine. I'll give
Like,
you the
yeah,
rundown.
if
Yeah.
folks want to plot alert me, I mean, fine.
So Civ 7, I actually really like the game, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the UI is great, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it's not buggy. Game is super buggy, and the game has very big UI issues that need to be addressed. I like the changes that they added into the game. They redid the diplomacy feature. They redid like how the game progresses. They redid how you as a character play your like through the ages and things like that, and pick a civilization. So, excuse me, but I think it's really cool. But I do think that there is room for improvement in it. I totally understand someone saying like, I'm just gonna wait to buy until they fix a bunch of this stuff, because I'll be honest, I don't think the game should have released in this state. I think the game should have waited maybe a month or two, just getting more stuff done with it. But I am enjoying it personally.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that is kind of a feedback for almost like any civ. Is usually wait until the post, like I didn't that either expansion or whatever, where they throw all the features at it. Like I feel like end game six Civ 6 felt very well thought out.
Yeah.
Like there was a whole like global warming system. There was like the World Congress system that like allows people to vote on benefits.
Yeah, actually, the World Congress system is not here, which I just realized. That's a big one.
There's a lot of things like that made so much sense in Civ 6 5 and 6 that are not here, but I heard people say that they need to make this game feel different. So like like if you were to ask someone, hey, how do you make a game about being a world
leader?
Yeah, leader. Yeah,
Immigrant status.
God damn it, man. Honestly, look,
but yes,
I know 2 languages. No, anyways,
I speak English because it's the only language that you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways, so so if you were to ask someone to like do like a product design, hey, let's make a game about being a world leader, how would you design game systems around it, right?
Yeah.
This one, like in Civ 7, leans more into people have influence and you leverage that influence as
Kind of hold
trade
on.
relations.
You roboted out there for a second. Sorry about that, folks. Had some weird technical difficulties. Kamala Harris is taking out...
Oh, dude. Yo, dude, I was gonna do Mom Said It's My Turn with the big dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that we were gonna explain away the technical difficulties because big government. It's actually crazy. She's not even president, but we're still gonna blame her.
Yeah.
The technical difficulties. Anyways, back to Civ.
Yes, you were just talking about the diplomacy system and how you were saying that as a product designer, how do you change, like, hey, you need to make a Civ game. What do you do to change it and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, because the previous Civ games relied on more like tangible feel for progress. Like, like you can build a lot of universities and great wonders that would like either fuel your culture or your economic status or your scientific like research initiatives. So like it leaned very heavily into, hey, let's make this progress bar go up, and then like kind of snowball into late game that you can research like nuclear fission like super quickly compared to like other civilizations. I feel like this game relies more about like, hey, how do you get the single player experience to interact a lot more with the AI?
Yeah.
I found that within the 8 hours of me playing, they're always gonna come up with right in Civ 7 there's this influence system where you can like barter with another civilization where you have your currency and then you can propose, hey, like let's have a farmers market together. and there are three options that
Mhm.
either decline, which costs, which basically says, hey, me and you are not going to get any benefits, and that costs you to
Well,
like currency.
declining gives you a negative thing, right? A negative
Yeah, so
outcome. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, declining basically lowers your friendship status with the civilization, but
Yeah.
like you can use it strategically as a power move. The middle option is just accept, which is says, hey, fine, like sure, you can have a farmer's market in my city or whatever, right? That gives you some coin, like two coins per turn for like 15 turns,
Well, it
but it gives,
depends on the action, like what, but
yeah,
like lesser
I'm
benefit is in the middle. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
There's that, and then like they get they get like +4 food, but you only get 2 plus gold. But then
Hmm.
you can also I like support a policy which, hey, both of you guys get +6, and that costs influence as well.
Hmm.
So there's a balance of like, hey, I was explaining to Hadi and another friend where I was like, oh, this feels very much like little brother trauma, where someone comes up to you and says, hey, do you want to accept this offering that I'm giving you? Like they get the better deal for offering it, and you just get like some slightly benefit for just saying, okay, fine. But like every time I look at it, I'm like, I'm not gonna let this guy get the better half of the deal. I'm gonna spend my influence, and we're gonna both go into this thing. And the next thing you know, I have no influence.
Hmm.
Like I feel like I'm not really explaining the context here, but everything you do with civilizations costs this influence.
Yeah.
It costs influence currency. So like it
Yeah.
makes you think about civilizations in a way, uh, like how, like if you want to deal with somebody or no, like oh, I don't want to use my influence on this civ, let me use it on this other civilization, because maybe I can like leverage their military or XYZ, or
Yeah. I
be
mean,
closer
I
allies
get
with
where you're
them.
coming from. I also was having the same issue the first time I played, but then when I played my second game, it kind of took a little bit more time to like really jump into it. It made sense. You have to adjust your style of play. It definitely doesn't play the same as Civ 6 in some aspects. In some aspects it does, but in a broader sense, it does more to say like, hey, if you're gonna play this game, you need to like be smart with how you spend your influence and things like that if you want to like have all your cards on the table, right? But that's not
Yeah,
to
it
say
makes
that,
sense.
yeah, like that's not to say that like your feelings are wrong. Like, I get where you're coming from. I would say that like maybe give it one more shot to like see like how like play now that you know that's how this works, like play with that aspect in mind and be like, okay, like, because like a lot of times I just take the neutral option. I'm like, yeah, like whatever, you do whatever, and like it may not benefit me, but then like I can like do something else with that later down the line.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's what I would
Like,
say on it.
yeah, I mean it's a good game,
Hmm.
honest. Like,
Yeah.
if I will say, like the UI stuff is not the crazy, because like you can disable UI scaling, which makes it a lot easier to look at.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah, there is definitely bugs where it's like, oh, okay, this tooltip is, or this tutorial is still stuck on the screen, and I'm on around like 200. Like, bro,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. Exactly.
Um, but I think from a feature set, I like the features um of the previous civs,
Yeah.
because like it felt better to like research, like being able to dump points into research and working towards like great scientists, and then they have uh like unique attributes that you can leverage, whereas here it's like you don't get the feeling of like there's something greater. But then again, I
Mm,
haven't gone to the age of uh I haven't gone to exploration age, or what's the last phase?
modern age.
Modern age.
It does play out a little differently when you get to those ages, I will say. But at the same time, I do get what you're saying because I also felt that way until I got to the thing and I was like, oh, okay, like there is benefit to it somehow, some way. Like the benefits you get between changing like between changing of ages is like huge, I would say.
Hmm, hmm.
So that's something to like, you know,
No, yeah,
keep in
that's a
mind.
that's a solid
But
point.
you haven't
Yeah,
like again, you haven't gotten there, so you wouldn't know, and that's
yeah.
fair. Yeah.
Intentionally, I didn't go there. So,
Oh, fair.
anyways, yeah.
And then I also just played. I'm gonna play more Civ in the like probably after this recording, to be honest. But like, I want to experience more of it. I want to really get into it and see how good I can get with it, because it's one thing to jump into Civ 6 at the end of its life cycle and like get all these mechanics and it's great, and that was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
But there was definitely like a holy shit, this is a lot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
so much that I just didn't understand. I just kind of played the game just to play the game, and I still had fun. But now it feels good to like, oh, like I'm actually like watching videos of how to understand like, or how to play, you know, Civ, and like what does this do, what does that do, you know, that kind of thing. So I am liking that aspect of it, I will say. um so that's nice, you know.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
um
I think
yeah,
any change people will not necessarily riot, but like they'll shy away from it. When the iPhone introduced freaking Face ID, they're like, "Oh my God, what the heck? What do you mean?" Blah, blah." Now everybody's just freaking living in
that's
the
also
future.
part of it. Like I don't like the criticism of it not being like a finished game, bugs, totally valid. I don't want to excuse that in the slightest. The thing that I really disagree with is people being like, "Oh, they changed this gameplay aspect of it. It's a bad game." Well, I don't think so. I think it's a different game. You know, it's not what you want, but it's something that just takes learning. You know, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like you said, you're comparing like the end of one game to the start of a new one,
Mm-hmm.
but then that kind of begs the difference. Like bro, like you could have had learnings. I don't. There's a lot of discussion to be had here, I think.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And then I also played a lot of Astrobot. Oh my god, dude, Astrobot. It's ass, whatever. Like it's such a fun game, and I
Yeah.
bought this purely on Ahmed's recommendation. Obviously, previously my thoughts on it were that like it won Game of the Year, and I was like, man, it's cool, but like I don't think it deserves to win Game of the Year. I 100% retract that statement. Honestly, after playing it, for what I've played, I've only played. I don't know if there's like a way to. Oh, actually, I can check
You're
my time.
you're like on
I just
you're
finished the
what, like
Octopus Galaxy today.
40%. You're like 40% through then. That's
I've
literally
played,
40%.
yeah, I played 8 hours of the game. Um, it is such a fun like. It's one of those things where I genuinely missed the idea of, well, not missed the idea, but like I really enjoy platformers if done right. I really like Mario Odyssey. I think it's really fun, and I really enjoy like Mario Sunshine, things like that. Hat in Time as well, but obviously Nintendo's are like the greatest at this. And here comes this game, and like based on your recommendation, obviously I picked it up, and it was on sale too. I bought it for like $40, so I was like, okay, like this must be like this is divine intervention, you know. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's very tight. It feels very good. It's so like entrenched in like details and like love for what it
Yeah.
is. You know, the little movements of the characters, like where each character is. Like I did, like I fought like the tentacle monster, and
Mhm.
Kratos and Atreus were there. It's like, oh yeah, they're like on the lake and they're trapped into the, you know, like things like that. I went to a fungi like secret level, and the like Last of Us 2 characters or Last of Us characters were in there. So it's just like things like that that I really appreciate, you know?
Yeah. Like
Um yeah.
it's so good. Like there's so many details that like, for example, at the first level, you see like these like little like Goomba things, like, and like you see them in grass, and then like when you walk into the grass lights up because it's like this like techno world. So I feel like everything you interact, like the game is meant for you to interact with it. The control, like every step you
Mhm,
take,
mhm,
the
mhm.
controller feels nice. Visually, things interact with it the way it's like you walk in grass, the grass lights up, so it's like, oh,
Yep.
monkey brain goes goo goo gaga, kind of whatever.
Yeah.
And then like, so in that first level, you see like the little Goomba, they're like in the grass or whatever, you kill them or whatever, and then you walk into later, and then you're in a pool, and then the Goomba is wearing a freaking life vest thing.
Yeah.
It's like it's so cute, dude. I don't know how to explain it aside from that, where it just feels like, oh, they thought of everything, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're able to pull off some interesting like traversal, like, oh, like you see a tree and somehow you're able to climb it and there's like no ladder or something, they'll give you like a drop of coin and be like, hey man, great job. Like they know
Mhm.
that people are gonna
Mhm.
play with this game in this way.
Yep.
Um, it
I
just, I
agree.
don't know, man. I can't stop talking about this game. I love this game so much, man. And just for like like just the intention behind the people that made it, man. They
Mm,
feel like because I was watching an interview. Again, his name is like Nicholas Doucet or something like that. He's like the head of Studio Asobi, and like he was interviewing this guy, and he was like, "Hey man, I just want to ask man, how old are your kids?" He's like, "Oh, my kids are this and this." It's like 9 and 7 years old. He's like, "Oh, like, did you feel like any connection being like, oh, you see, this is Sly Cooper. I played it when he was a kid, or that that you're watching them play, and then maybe they get to a hard part, and like, oh, Dad, can you take the controller?" He's like, if we can do this to just one person, like he's like, that's the mission accomplished, right? Like for them
mm,
to feel like they're having a moment. And I don't know. I played this and I kept going to like my wife. I'm like, oh my god, look at this character. Oh my god, look at this character. And like,
yeah,
oh, like, did you see this detail of this thing happening? And that, I don't know. It's so
it's very well done, and I'm very
yeah,
happy that it's the way that it is. You know,
yeah.
I do kind of want to see. Um, they actually added more levels like today, right, or something.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, someone sent a thing where they said they added more levels or something like that. I'll look into
Oh,
it, but essentially they added more
okay.
apparently.
I
Um,
know they added for Christmas.
yeah, I'll double check on that. I'm not sure when they're adding it, but they are supposedly adding more. And then I also, what else did I do? I watched Severance. No, nothing to say about that because I don't want to put spoilers in my TikTok feed. But Severance is great. Really liking it. I'm very curious to see where it goes. And then I also played Lightyear Frontier, which was our Is It Gas on Game Pass, like current selection, I guess. And you didn't play it, right?
I didn't know.
Okay, I'll just go into it. I'll be honest, man. I think we just need to have a rule about this gas on Game Pass thing, banning all these farming simulators. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to play any more of these. This was another one of those farming simulators to where you have to essentially, like, it's the same concept of like land on a planet and you make your farm or whatever. But the thing is, here is they throw in mechs in the mix where you have a giant mech that you pilot and things like that. Um, it's not a fast mech. It's not like a crazy quick mech. It's not something that's like super amazing. You know, it's just it's pretty like slow. It's pretty like clunky and things like that. Um, it just it just didn't feel great. And to be fair, this game is in alpha, I think, right? Is that what game preview means on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Early access, I
early
guess is
access.
probably what.
So maybe I'm
Yeah.
rating it too harshly, but it just wasn't too like fulfilling, at least for me. It's very much like a niche game for some people. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's I just don't want to play it. You know, like I don't care anymore at this point. I'm kind of tired of it, if that makes sense.
No, that's a fair assessment. I think we were seeing things back to back, um, that were probably like, okay, like we played a lot of these kind of strategy, like I don't want to say farming sim exactly, but like there's a lot of things that are in the same kind of bubble where it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, the was it like Steel Build World or something like that Steam, the one that was like city management or like Sim City, that one
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of,
yeah. Steam World build.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like you probably I guess there's like a level of fatigue, and probably it's easy to I don't want to say it's easy to make,
Yeah.
but it's a because game development is kind of hard. But
Yeah.
the like you have like the product line kind of lined out if for like a farming sim
Mm-hmm.
style kind of game. So
Yeah.
um
Um, yeah, I mean, it's again, I don't want to say it's a bad game. I'm tired of these. I don't really want to play these kinds of games anymore at this point in time, at least. So for my rating, I actually don't feel comfortable giving it a rating simply because I just don't think I played enough of it to be fair in terms of like giving it a rating. I played the first like hour to hour, an hour and a half, and I was like, all right, I get it, you know? So I won't be
mhm.
rating it because, it's not fair. But I will say that it is, um, it's for a certain type of person, just like some of our other choices and things like that.
Fair.
But yeah, let's do the next. Is it gas on Game Pass selection? Do you have
Sure,
your Game
let's do
Pass
it.
open?
Yeah, man. I got 2 weeks left of this, so
Okay. All right.
let's see if we can run it.
Let's do it. Ready? And 3, 2, 1. Let's see what we get here. Okay.
Okay.
What'd you get?
I got SimCity, bro. This is on some TikTok, Amazon, freaking mic
Yeah.
listening, bro.
I got Eternal Strands.
Yo, is that the first Strand game?
Oh, technically it's the last one because it's Eternal. Both of these.
Yellow Brick.
I haven't. Why does this sound so familiar? What does Yellow Brick Games make? Yellow.
Are you thinking of Dorothy, bro?
Yeah, maybe.
The Wizard of Oz.
Let's see. What else have they
Oh,
made?
this game came out? I feel like I've seen this game, but I've not. Eternal Strands. This is I feel like it's like an action kind of game.
Yeah, it is. I'm kind of down to try this. This looks
Is
neat.
it like a side scroller or?
No, it looks like a third-person action adventure game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
You wanna go for it?
Yeah, I'll install it. Yeah.
I will also install it. Okay, let's try this out. The next gas on Game Pass is called Eternal Strands. Let me write that down here.
Sorry if I seem like I've been not attentive. In the process of fixing the controller, I ripped one of the ribbon cables.
Oh, bro, that shit's done.
Yeah, it is what it is, bro. I pour one out for the PlayStation controller.
Now no Astrobot for you. Haha.
Yeah, honestly, bro. I mean, I could play Astrobot, but I'm not gonna have any of the freaking vibrations, man.
Yeah.
Which is like honestly, that's like surprisingly a large part of the thing, because like his little robot feet, he's like teet, 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 his little teeth. It's a great game. It's funny. I was telling Hadi after we recorded the last episode, I was like, I really need to be better at giving people context, because I think I get way too excited, and I just say, and then this thing, and then and then oh my god, and then this thing, and then, oh my god. I feel like that's
He's
that's like
excited.
every time, yeah, like just golden retriever vibes. But
Let's
yeah,
see here.
Off topic. Have you not been watching Ted Lasso anymore?
I haven't had time. I want to. I just have not had the chance, unfortunately.
Can't believe this, man.
I'm sorry, Chief. But I will get back on it. I promise.
Are you not a TV show guy at dinner?
Not recently. I'll be honest.
Okay.
Like because we moved to a new place, we've just been like chilling downstairs and eating upstairs. So we haven't had much time to watch stuff, because the thing is we had to watch that and Severance, and we're like, oh, okay, like let's watch Severance. That's like top of mind,
Bro, you're speaking like you have a new episode every day, man.
True. That's my fault.
No, okay. I'm gonna get on you, and I'm gonna get on this other friend that needs to be watching Ted Lasso.
No, you're right.
Because I'm honest. It's funny because we are watching where you guys left off. And I'm like, oh my god, this is a good show, and I don't know. I mean, I just was reminded of it.
Fair enough. But yeah, so next gas on Game Pass is Eternal Strands. Now, let's get into the gaming news. Hot off the presses. Go for it. Go ahead.
No, oh no, I was just gonna do the whole Keemstar. Let's get right.
Oh god, not a problematic individual at all. First things first that occurred. Not first things first, but rather hottest topic. PSN State of Play happened. We watched it together yesterday on February 12th. There was a couple. It was actually a pretty sizable show. For context, this is the mentality I was going into the show with, and I explained to Ahmed before. I said, if there is a spot to announce Bloodborne, this is the space. This one or upcoming one, whatever the case is, because they recently DMCA'd striked like some Bloodborne stuff. And so either now and Blue Point's freed up. So I know I'm huffing mad copium. Totally understand that. I'm not under any illusion. But all I'm saying is if there was going to be a place for them to announce it, it would be here. Sadly, we did not get that announcement. The remaster of the day this time from Sony was Days Gone, right? Was it Days Gone?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, look, if they want to give the game some love, I get it, man. But that's the wrong. They're doing everything but this. It's like Sponge. It's like that what episode of SpongeBob? The lid. Dude, they know. Look, these guys aren't idiots.
Yeah.
They know what a remaster is. There's more Horizon remasters than there's more Last of Us remasters than there needs to be, man.
Yeah, it's tiring, but you know what? I think Bloodborne is going to get announced this year. That's my take. Because also recently, like with Sony, what happened was there was essentially two CEOs, one hardware, one software guy. And the software guy actually got demoted recently because they're like, either they saw his kerfuffle with Concord and they saw what he was trying to do with all the live service games. And they're like, all right, there's only going to be the hardware guy. He's going to be the one who's mainly in charge. So we'll see if like the company trusts his judgment. I don't know if it's him making the decision, but
my God.
I don't know.
You know what? It just dawned on me.
Hmm.
You know what just dawned on me? That dude, the Sony Studios CEO, I think his name was like Hellman Hurst or something. He was the former head of Guerrilla Games. Do you want to know what Guerrilla Games makes?
Horizon.
This dude, guys, I swear we did another one. This dude from the top down.
Guys, you know, it'd be sick if we made a VR one. It'd be so cool.
Bro, actually, my kid plays with Legos. What if we would just do one of those?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
I mean, it does sell well. I don't want to.
Imagine you're riding in the car with him. Guys, you want some music? I made some for you, actually. And then you guys go to a different car. And then he's like, "Okay, give me the aux cord." That's the type of guy I feel like he is, man.
I don't know.
I don't know them personally. I'm just upset that we got so much Horizon. And he was the former studio head of the company or the division or the studio that made Horizon. I don't know. Look, listen, man. Also, do you think the moon is flat?
Yeah, there we go. Now we're cooking with gas. I'm steering this back. So because we can't.
We have to do some of these tough turns, but sorry.
I know you're right. It's just the moon one. That one is I agree with you.
No,
we can't expose the government secrets here.
You have to switch it up on them, right? You have to combine two conspiracies, right? Moon landing and the Earth flat. Now the moon's flat.
Yeah, there you go. Frisbee disc up in the sky.
I mean, it looks like it.
Yeah. So then what was announced? A lot of stuff was announced. We're not going to go through everything because I'm not going to lie, we don't care about everything that was announced. Things of note: Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I put this on here because this is that one that was like the watercolor, like hard line type thing. This one looks awesome in terms of art style, and it looks like it's going to be really like action packed. So I'm going to keep an eye out on this one. I'll probably pick it up eventually when it goes on sale, but it looks cool. The next thing that's on this list is Sonic Racing. It's only going to be on PS4 or PS5, but when we were watching it, Ahmed, you had a comment about kart racers, which was interesting.
Oh, dude, there used to be so many kart racers in the past. Now you want something, you just have to go to the Switch. I mean, granted, I feel like Sonic Racing has been there before,
right?
But it just sometimes you just feel like you want to play a kart racer.
Mm-hmm.
It's like somehow, Nintendo. I don't want to say has a monopoly or something, but it just feels like, okay, like name me another game that's like Mario Party.
Yeah.
There's only like one other that's called like Pummel Party, but like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
There isn't a Sonic Racing and Mario Kart. Like it's nice to see that they're doing this again. I don't know, like I don't know. It'd be nice to have, and it'd probably be a good like party game to just pop in, or if the online is good, it's probably nice to just casually play as well. So
I agree. I think it's one of those things also where like well, it's not releasing on PC, so that's a little sad. But I think a kart racer for PC would be great. Like I would be
yeah.
down. And I've always heard that Sonic Racing is like elite in terms of kart racing. So
Mhm.
um, I would like to see that come to PC. But I guess we'll find out if that's the case.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's it's only possible with the power of the PS5 SSD. That's why the loading times
mm,
are crazy.
there was
Anyway,
some
sorry.
cool stage transitions in there.
Yeah.
I'll give it props.
Yeah, so for context, real quick, they as you're driving, there's like a fork in the road where like two portals show up, and I don't know if it is gonna force everybody to take the same portal, or you can take two different portals into like a new map, and like I want to see. Now that I think about it, I want to see how they actually handle that, because that would be interesting. Um, yeah,
I agree. The next thing that we wanted to cover was the Borderlands 4 preview that was also shown. I'll be honest, and tell me if you think the
yeah,
same way. It looked
snooze fest.
it looked really dull, right? Like
Yeah, man, that's
visually, color palette wise, it just looked like gray.
yeah, that's the problem I think right now with like with art styles and engines, is that stylized looks aren't really like aren't really in style, I guess, ironically. Like I think
Well,
even though
hmm,
Borderlands is supposed to be a hard cell cell shaded style aesthetic that like almost kind of comic booky in a way, like I feel like they're leaning more into like the realism aspect,
yeah, I
which
think a little addendum to what you said was that like it's not that stylized isn't in fashion. I think it is in fashion, but I think if you don't commit hard enough, it looks really bad. And I think that's what's happening here. I don't think that they're committing hard enough to like the Borderlands like vibe. Therefore, it looks kind of weird that it's semi-realistic and semi-Borderlands.
yeah, because like they've nailed this aesthetic before. It's not
Yeah,
their first time; it's their fourth time.
the second one was
Uh,
immaculate. It looked amazing,
yeah, yeah.
But then since then, I feel like they just haven't really captured
Mhm.
that level
That
of like
pizzazz.
wow,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
I don't know. I guess we'll
hey
see.
man, they said no toilet humor, so
Oh God.
you get rid of that, and then you get rid of the art style. What else is left for this game? Who
Yeah,
knows, man?
are they gonna do the Gangnam Style bit again? Yeah, they for
Uh,
context, they did
dude,
like a Gangnam Style joke in Borderlands 3 like 10 years after Gangnam Style came out, and it's like, okay, dude, like what do you
actually, when did Borderlands 3 come out?
didn't it come out like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Probably
Nah,
not.
dude, 2019. Okay, still, all right,
4 years
whatever. Yeah,
ago.
you're right.
5
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
6 years ago. Yeah, whatever. Whatever. Um Next thing is Liza P Overture DLC. This one was awesome. This one is my favorite announcement of the show. It releases in summer 2025. It looks like you can have summons in this one. They have a lot of cool weapons. When it first came up, I thought it was like the second Liza P, but then Ahmed was like, no, like they're doing DLC, so that's what this must be. So, and sure enough, that's what this was. I am really
yeah.
excited for it. I actually really want to play it, to be honest. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
I didn't get through the first one, but I probably might go back into it.
Hmm.
I think it was, I think it's like a mental thing, right? Where if I play another Souls like, and if it's not FromSoft,
Yeah.
I go into a fit of like, oh, this is such BS. FromSoft, they wouldn't do me dirty like this, right? Like
Hmm.
if like because like there was an issue with Lies of P's like window for parrying and things like that.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel as good as FromSoft games. So
Yeah.
like Sekiro and Bloodborne and Elden Ring and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So when I was playing it, I was like, "Ah, whatever. Let me just put this down." But I think it's like a mental thing, right? Where I think arguably a lot of people are saying Lies of P is like you can debate them on the same standard as a FromSoft game. Like I think like that's like a high praise, because like, even games like Neo doesn't really feel like a FromSoft game.
Yeah.
Like even though it's not really gunning for it, but like it's like at the time the closest competitor, where you have like this very hard kind of exploration boss
Mhm.
Like I don't say boss rush, but like it's like a boss like overworld like type thing that you have to um get your money and souls and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'll give it another shot probably.
Nice. It is fun. I can see what you're saying about like, oh, it feels like a knockoff from Soft. I will say, out of all the Bloodborne, out of all like the what's the word? Out of all of the like, we have Bloodborne at home. This is like the best
Oh,
one.
okay.
You know?
I feel like I don't know. I feel like I lost you for a second, or were you talking?
Oh, sorry. I was saying that this is like the best we have Bloodborne at home type thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's good enough, and it's a very unique thing, bro. Freaking, I think I really like the.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. We
They're
had
back at it again. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off, but the people need to know, bro. As soon as we said the moon was flat, they they nuked the Discord, man. What the heck?
Oh my god. Yes, this is true. But
This is
we're
why
back.
Elon is. That's why he got a $400 million grant to to build EVs.
Because of our podcast?
Ex- Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm
Perfect.
sorry, taxpayer. We did something wrong. I don't.
No, you're right. You're right. But you were
Yeah.
saying that you enjoy it being a Pinocchio like retelling.
Yeah, I was saying that it's such a unique concept because at first you're like a Pinocchio Souls like well that's so random, but they present the world in a very like unique way, and I'm not sure if Pinocchio recently got added to public domains and that's why they made this game. But it's nice to see that we're getting some classic stories. Like for example, like I think Winnie the Pooh and Steamboat Willie are technically now in the public domain, so anybody can use those licenses or those characters to make games. So,
Hmm.
or I'm curious what future games might look like. You
Well,
know,
they said Alice in Wonderland's the next one. Or no, which one's the Red Slippers one?
Red Slippers, Snow
Dorothy.
White.
Dorothy.
Oh, Dorothy.
Yeah, they showed her at
Okay,
the end of the
okay.
game actually.
Oh yeah, okay. Snow White is the red bow. Okay,
Yeah.
fair, fair, fair.
Um but yeah, that is kind of what that is that announcement. And the last announcement that we could talk about a little bit, I know you weren't really pleased with it, but Soros, which is the essentially Returnal 2, um, with Rahul Kohli, right? That's the guy
Yeah,
who's
yeah,
the
yeah.
actor. It was nice to see him. I personally don't really care. I haven't played Returnal, so I don't want to say I don't care. I just don't have the experience. Um, but you did. You said you
I
did
think I
enjoy it.
think I'm salty because it was when the play like PS5 was first announced, and I was like, all right, cool. And the high of getting something at launch kind of wore away, and I was like, why is this machine here?
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was like, oh my god, Returnal's the next best game. It's next gen. Oh my god, look at that. I was like, all right, let's try this game out. Spent $70, and then Housemark or Housemarque or whatever the publisher or the developer is like, guys, we really wanted to sell the game at $35, but Sony said 70. And I was like, dude, and I played the game and I was just so upset. I was like, I spent $70 for this
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's a roguelike, and the idea the Returnal the premise of it was you're this astronaut, you're stuck on this alien planet, and every time you die, you go back to the crash site of your spaceship, and
Yeah.
you have to escape the forest kind of thing, right? um I had like some, I guess, maybe petty critiques because of how I was feeling. I was like, oh my god, the art style is so this and that. um like I think it was more petty comments just because I spent $70 and I didn't feel like I got $70 worth of value. um but hey man, that was like
Maybe you should
4
have played
years
a couple
ago.
times, and then you'll get that $70 worth of value. You know?
You're right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you're just not good. Not about that, huh?
You know what's gonna be crazy? Like, what if Saros comes out and it's gonna be $80? Hey man, freaking, they're gonna raise the bar with whatever that other game is. Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is true.
You
But
know what game might not be? $80.
Oh my god, I hate this. Yeah. So what game is not going to be $80? Go ahead.
Wait, what? What, dude?
Listen. I saw these stories and I sent you like I sent you, what did I tell you when I sent you some of the stories? Let me see. I said like, God, I was so pissed. But like Wonder Woman is essentially, to lead on to what you were saying. Wonder Woman is gonna be taking quite a bit of time to come out. Actually, this Wonder Woman game that was announced by WB a while back, that had the Nemesis system, right?
So initially, I think it was Monolith Studio, the same guys that did Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they were going to make a Wonder Woman game, and they were going to leverage the Nemesis system, which is copywritten, TM trademarked, um, and that was supposed to be like the next like evolutionary thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that was supposed to like branch out into I don't know if it's gonna be tied to Arkham or any of these other games, but they wanted to kind of expand their gaming repertoire for WP. But this game has been in development hell, and at the moment it's been rebooted, and it's been said by I forget the journalist's name. I'll try to find it, but he essentially said, "Oh, the initial version of Wonder Woman it reimagined the Nemesis system from Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor into um Wonder Woman, but the latest iteration is being reported that it's been tossed out for more a traditional action adventure game. So we're getting to the God of War combat, or I guess traditional God of War combat, where you or Arkham combat of free flow punching stuff. You're gonna have a counter. And I bet you press L2 and triangle. You're gonna do a lasso of truth to pull somebody in. I'm more upset that they're not using the Nemesis system. And I guess
Yeah.
initially I guess they were saying that they would use the Nemesis system to allow Wonder Woman to befriend people, or enemies. And for those that don't know, like imagine if you have not played Shadow of Mordor or Shadow of War, the Nemesis system um was this way that you can take random orcs in Shadow of Mordor that kill you. They would now get like this like promotion of or they get this moment would be like, oh my god, I killed the main hero. And then since you're like a wraith or ever eternal or whatever, you respawn, and
Yeah.
then now in that game world, that orc that killed you has clout around him, and he has a name and he has attributes. So now like a
Or he can come back,
random
or if you do kill him, he can come back and be like, "Hey, I'm this guy, and I've learned your technique," and he can like be better at the way that you killed him last time. Whether it's like an arrow strike, he can now come back immune to arrow strike. So it's like
yeah,
it builds a repertoire with these characters, which is super sick.
exactly. So it's basically like it's a way for dynamic, uh I guess to introduce some dynamic element from like what would be a more traditional gameplay, right? Like imagine if you were playing an Arkham game and and one of the thugs beats up Batman, and then like he gets like injured and he has to heal up and then he has to come back, and then now that thug that dealt the like mortal blow to Batman, or like I don't want to say killing blow or whatever, like he becomes like the gang leader, and then like he can get promoted to XYZ and all this stuff. So it was so great. Then WB freaking put that on copyright, and then
Mhm.
now no other games can do that, which is such a shame. Like I'm at like there's so many games I feel like that could have benefited from this, and the fact that like it's being squandered is so hurtful, man. Like they could
Dude,
have.
this system, I played a lot of Shadow of War. This system is so good. Like it's so fun. It's such a really cool, in-depth way to make the game a lot better. And like realistically, like obviously I'm not saying to code it, it's not a lot, but like mechanically, it's not much in the sense that like, oh, like it's somewhat of a repeating process, but the fact that it's done so well and executed with such like a fun way, like way to play the game, it makes for a really good system, and I'm really bummed out that like it's being stuck in development hell slash even removed.
Yeah,
You know, like it's not.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
It sucks too because like the second game, Shadow of War, expanded on that so heavily,
mhm.
where you could it allowed you to initiate gang wars between uh like two heads, like orc heads. So like
Mhm.
there's ways that like that it wasn't just feeding into your gameplay loop of like, oh, this guy killed you or you killed this orc, and then they come back and you have this like special connection. It's like, no, you can like influence other things in the world. um that's such a wasted potential, man. Like
Yeah.
and I feel like honestly they should just license this out. Like they should just go and just give somebody like, hey man, go like pay us 200K and you use this system or something, because otherwise it's just sitting in the back burner.
Yeah. Well, speaking of wasted potential, bro, I swear, put me in. Let me just run WB's decision making process because for some reason they decided to. There's some news that came out to where a Flash game was in the works at WB Games Montreal, but scrapped after the poor reception to the movie, and a Constantine game was also pitched but never approved. I am so tired of WB owning these properties and just not doing anything with them. It
Yeah.
it's so annoying, dude. Like I the Flash thing really baffles me. I'll be honest with you, just because of like the poor reception to the movie. They're like, oh, actually, then that means the game won't sell, and it's like that's not necessarily the case. You know, like there's obviously like a reason that that movie didn't sell because it sucked dog water, and just
Yeah.
to base a decision like this off of that is like ridiculous in my opinion. And who
I
knows,
will
like
say
yeah.
they were going through it because bro, you had Ezra Miller doing headlines. So they're like, listen, bro, get this game off here. I don't want to see it. But yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like that's like two separate things. There's some probably some product strategy around like, oh, you want to like you can probably reduce marketing costs because like like people are already going to be talking about this game in like the cultural sphere, or like not
Hmm.
the game, like the character in the cultural sphere. So they're
Yeah.
probably like, oh, we can leverage off of that. But then I think the way things played out, they're probably like, all right, bro, I don't like I'm not saying it's right, but I'm kind of thinking from their perspective, like what a freaking 60-year-old, how he would approach this.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just tired. That's all it is. I'm just tired.
I'm tired of this, grandpa.
I'm tired of this, grandpa. I just want good. I want something creative. And here's the thing, like let's say it gets past like the Flash game, let's say it gets past like the concept stage and stuff like that, and it comes out, it's like, okay, and it's not good. Let's say it's bad, whatever the case. That's like, I'm not saying release bad games, but I'm saying like at least like take a chance to something that's not safe, that's not Batman, that's not, Mortal Kombat 1, that's not, you know, like that. Those are their Game of Thrones, like those are their main portfolios that they're really like working on right now. And it's just like, okay, like you have so many properties. Like a Constantine game would be kind of sick, like a monster hunting game where you play as John Constantine and exercising demons and shit. Like that sounds dope. But
Yeah,
they said
I'm gonna be frank
no.
with you. I thought this character, like, okay, call me fraud. I thought this was a Marvel character.
No, fair enough. I mean, it's very much like he's very much essentially like a demon hunter, exorcist kind of guy with the power of heaven and stuff at his fingertips.
A modern day Witcher?
Yeah, actually, like legitimately, um, uses magic and stuff like that. I don't think
Yeah,
I don't know his feeling towards portals, but you know.
yeah.
So
That's huge.
we'll see if anything. Thank you, thank you. We'll see if anything comes from this. I honestly don't know, but seeing as WB is just on a roll recently, probably not. They
Yeah.
did announce something new though.
Well, I don't know if it's announced, but it is speculated that a new Batman game by Rocksteady is in the works. Uh, Jason Schreier from Bloomberg basically said that since the departure of the former like WB Games president,
Hmm.
there's been a lot of claims that Rocksteady, since winding down um, Suicide Squad, is going to be focusing on their bread and butter, which is a single player Batman game. Like if this is like to kind of quote from what Jake Baldino was saying, he that is, if this is kind of being talked right now and it's getting greenlit, then this is far away from being actually released, right? So honestly, if you want to put a question mark on like what to be expected from this, because WB has been kind of hemorrhaging money.
Mm.
Like, would we even see this? Is this gonna be a rush state where they're gonna try to like do microtransactions or something to get like short term money? I don't know, but um, I guess like I want to ask you like, what would you want from a potential new Batman game?
I'm gonna be honest, man. I genuinely don't know because I really think that the way that Rocksteady left the Batman series was great. We had the Batmobile, we had great combat, we had a good story, like everything like ended on a fantastic note. You know, I don't know
Hmm.
if I want a new Batman game. I'll be real. Like I think I'm because if I want a good Batman game, I'll just play the old ones because I know they're good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like I
that's
don't
good.
need more Batman like new stuff. Again, I'm a fan of more Batman, but in a sense that like I want them to take that team that's making the Batman game and put them somewhere else, something that's more creative. But I don't know. What about you? What's something that you want in a Batman game?
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man, because like I think a lot of the main people that made the trilogy is no longer there.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so like the feel like I don't like again like not to sound like I don't want to be like oh my god these guys suck, but like I feel like we did feel a difference between Arkham Origins and Arkham like the mainline Arkham series.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to expect. I just hope that like like they give it their best shot. The what I want to see, like if you want to really kind of get a wow factor, right, is probably like Batman Beyond. That would
Mm,
just look cool. How
that
it's
would
gonna
look
play,
cool.
probably will play the same, but at least like you're gonna be in a different environment. You kind of get that next chapter. You don't have to worry about how do you continue post Arkham Knight, especially with um, Kevin Conroy, not being around anymore, and essentially Mark Hamill saying, "I'm not going to play the Joker anymore." So like you kind of lose out from the two money making machines, or I don't say too many, but like that the star power that these games had.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Gonna be a tough thing. I did hear people say that with Arkham Shadows, the VR game, the Batman VR game, that they did nail a lot of good things there.
Oh, you played it?
Um, I haven't played it. I want to play it. A lot of the reviews say like, oh, this is like from a story perspective. They're like, oh, like now the the Arkham Origins universe done by like I think his name's like Roger Craig. That's like the voice actor.
Mm.
I think he's actually the same voice actor that does the voice for Ezio. This is random, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong. Anyways, um, so like that series, the Origin series, like oh, like there's some legs there. Like maybe if they want to revisit that, they could go there. But
Yeah.
I personally want to see a Beyond the Universe. That would be cool.
Mm. Yeah, I would like to see that as well. They had, but I mean, they had a Spider Verse style Beyond movie that was in the works, and they said no thanks, and they released a concept art for it, and it looked amazing. So you know,
Yeah.
Kendrick, destroy whoever's making these decisions at WB, and my
No,
life is
and then
yours.
WB and then WB goes down, and you're like, damn, who's gonna make Batman games?
Yeah,
Actually, it'd be interesting if WB went more into publishing instead of making their own games. I'd be very curious to see if they can get
yeah.
wins there. If they just like if someone else has a vision and they say, all right, we're gonna do marketing for it, and then I don't know.
Hmm. Neat. You know, it's not neat.
Actually, I
League.
mean,
What?
it should be okay. I feel like I'm stepping on your toes with these segues, or you step on my toes with these segues,
It's
but I
okay.
think that's part of the charm. But I mean, isn't this great?
N-
Is it great that this is how League crumbles down?
Uh,
League
fair
of Legends
enough.
removes the free loot boxes. I think we're just calling it Hextech chests. Is
Yes.
this what Jace would have wanted?
Is this yeah? Is this the Jaso verse that envisioned?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. While I personally am not into League anymore, hopefully not for a long ass time, I think that this decision is buns, dude. This is such a stupid thing that the devs are like trying to implement. They're essentially saying like they had an interview and they kind of said like, oh, like, they essentially said they're not making enough money off the game. So their solution was to remove the free thing that kept a lot of players engaged with free skins and things like that. And they decided to remove that. And now you have to just purchase skins like usual or use your essence, which is like a lot less valuable now because it's harder to get it and all this stuff. Players are understandably upset and pissed off, but it doesn't. I don't think they're going to revert this change, to be honest. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they're gonna change it. It sort of I can kind of see where they're coming from because there was a thing that one of the Riot designers, his name was like Riot August or something. I don't know. He's a bald dude. He came up on my TikTok like about like 5 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Oh, back in the day, like we really prioritized like the economy of how the game is set up is a bit wonky now because initially they really prioritized like new champions. That's how they made money. But like now their I guess priority is like cosmetics.
Yeah.
And if you look at a game like Counter Strike, like you want cosmetics. Like I mean, you technically can get free cosmetics, but like you get like some like ugly freaking like disgusting battle scarred like freaking pistol
Mm-hmm.
and you don't really get anything good. um I think that like for them to like get people to play and spend money, sure, I guess it makes sense. It is a free game.
It is a free
um
game. I think we're part of this issue. I think what the reason this decision is coming up is because Arcane did not translate into like money from the game, if that makes
mhm,
sense.
mhm.
Like it was a
Yeah,
success, but in a sense that like it's a commercial success that people looked at it, watched it, and like, oh, that was cool. But
it
League
didn't
itself,
translate
yeah,
to
League didn't see that, so now they have to figure out, okay, how can we need to increase the player base because no one new is jumping into League of Legends realistically, right? Like League has this tainted stain on it of like it's a trash game, don't play it. You know what I'm saying? So
and it's also there's a lot to learn. Like
there is, yeah,
it's not just like peer support saying don't get on it, but it's also like, oh, if you want to play it, okay, here's like 150 champions, learn the matchup, and
yep,
then and it's not even that. Sometimes like you'll see champions, and then it's wearing like they're wearing skins. And you're like, well, who the hell is this guy?
mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
then you
mm-hmm.
forget the move set, and you're like, I don't know what it was going like. You like part of the muscle memory and game sense of the game is knowing how to react to who's in front of you. Like if you're playing Counter Strike, you know that some guy has like the op, which is like the most powerful sniper. That's one hit. You're not gonna peek corners. If you're playing
Mm-hmm.
Call of
Mm-hmm.
Duty, like if you're playing Search and Destroy, you need to act a certain way. If you're playing, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. But yeah, we'll see where that goes. I think I think League might be on its last legs, but we'll find out. We will find out. But we will not find out what happened with PSN this past week. PSN has reportedly died and come back. How long did it take? It was like a couple hours, right?
I feel like it was like a day and a half, man.
It was a day and a half, really.
There was TikToks of like, "Yo, why is my boyfriend hanging out with me right now?" It's Saturday. What is he doing? Or what?
Yeah, they said it was due to operational issues. I don't know if I'll ever find out what that means,
You
but
know what's funny? My brother calls me up.
Mhm.
He was like, Ahmed. He's like, you still have your PlayStation? I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, like, is PlayStation down or is it up? I was like, it's up. He's like, hey, log in real quick. I was like, I go in and check it. Um, and he was like, "Oh, dude, apparently some hackers they took down PSN and put Cocker in everybody's account." Okay, I don't think that's true, but it was just like
That's pretty funny
I'm just
though.
imagining the story, just like, bro, that would be hilarious, right? Where it's like they like that was like their outage of just trying to figure out like what happened.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
and it's just like people just add concourse to everyone's account, and it's
That's
like, "Yo, go
so good,
download
dude.
it."
Oh man.
But I honestly, because like if the I don't because okay if Sony did find out, they could honestly just remove it from everybody.
Hmm.
They can have a way of rolling that back. But like I would like to think that that's the lore of what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe.
yeah, but Sony did say that if you for everyone that was affected, they'll give you 5 days of PlayStation PS Plus back.
If you
So
have PS Plus, if you don't have it, you get diddly squat.
well, you know what that means basically? This means guys buy your games physically because what happens to PlayStation Sound now you can't play your games.
You know what? Actually, funny enough, there's a setting on the PS5. I don't know if you know this. People tried to play their games physically on the PS5 with their disk drives and things like that. Whether it's a disk drive they have to add onto their device, like how the expanded version of it, where if you bought digital only, you could plug in a disk drive, or if you had a disk drive as well. Supposedly, people were trying to play games that they own physically, and if it was a game they haven't booted up yet or whatever the case is, they get told, "Hey, we can't sync this with our store or register to your account. You cannot play this game until the network is back up."
Bro, that's horrendous.
It's
I'm gonna
horrendous,
riot,
but
dude.
there is a setting on your PlayStation 5 that you have to turn on the shared library and turn on like allow offline play. You have to turn it on. It's not on by default. So there is
What
a
do you
workaround,
mean?
but yeah.
Big government at it again.
Please don't. They're going to strike down Google.
They are. Yeah,
Uh,
we're refugees on Google Meet right now.
yeah. Um, but I guess we'll see if we ever get like a real reason as to why this went down. Probably not, but it is what it is.
Yep. Yeah, it is. I guess if speaking of, actually, I don't know, man. I was thinking of how to do this because like I was just talking smack about how you have to play games physically, but like we're all of us are on Steam.
Okay, here. How about this? I
Uh,
got you. I got
and
you.
no, it's fine. I'm doing the transition right now, man.
Okay, okay, okay,
But
okay.
I was just saying, right? Like I was like, oh man, buy the games digitally. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, we're all on Steam. But now, if you buy a game on Steam and they haven't made an update in a year, Steam will now warn you if the game has been abandoned, right? So this is kind of some things that people have been snooping around and found out. Valve has yet to publicly announce or comment on this feature, but it's being said that this message will display for games that haven't been updated for 12 months or more, and the message is going to say this information and timeline described by the developers here may no longer be up to date, which is I think important to have
Mm-hmm.
for games that are in like we're in this mode of gaming of a lot of things are in early access.
Yep.
Like cost of development is really difficult, and this also allows for a lot of smaller developers to kind of get their foot out the door and get things going. Like for example, Power World, right? Crazy success. Like they literally like developed the game until they ran out of money, then they uploaded what they had. Um, so, but with the consequences of early accesses, there are these like get rich schemes where people just like pump and dump their audience and like they release something and then they walk away, and a lot of games are half baked for whatever reason. So, um, Hedy, what do you take? What's your thought on kind of Steam adding this?
I think it's good. I think it's one of those things where I'm really excited to see like if this shapes developers. Like I want to see the backlash from developers. You know, where if there is someone who I hope there's not backlash, but if there is, I want to see what their argument is. We're like, that's not, you shouldn't add that. It's like, well, why? Like this is helping the consumer be more informed, and I think anything that does that is always good. You know.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to have, um, and I think I remember reading something also that they're um, for battle passes, Valve was gonna be kind of stricter on how the team is or publishers and developers are supposed to present that information if the
Mm.
timeline slips and things like that because like people are pre-buying content, and if that slips, that would kind of suck for the consumer. And so, I mean, shout out to Steam for kind of
Yeah.
Like, this is more prevalent on Steam because, like, it's a much more open marketplace, whereas, um, Xbox and PlayStation are kind of more constricted.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of things that are a bit constricted and possibly just invite only, E3's parent company is constructing the Gaming Illuminati. That's actually the name of one of my favorite podcasts. But you could also call this the League of Doom from DC. What is this, right? So basically, ever since Jeff Keighley pulled up to Summer's Games Fest and kind of knocked out E3 from COVID times, there's kind of been this gap in the market where the industry
Well,
heads and
I
folks
would say it's
and
not
kind of
even just Jeff Keighley. I would say it's also studios and like PlayStation, Xbox being like, oh, we can just hold our own like showcase and do it the way that we want, you know?
yeah, I like E3 kind of lost a lot of clout, and I think Nintendo's been initially on the wave of like, oh, we can do our own thing,
Mm-hmm.
but ever since kind of E3 went away, like E3 back in the day was a proper expo where uh like makers and buyers of uh physical and digital gaming things, right? Like peripheral, like Mad Cats used to be at
Mm-hmm.
E3. They would meet with like other people to discuss like inventory and all these things, right? It was a proper like trade show expo, not necessarily this marketing thing that we kind of grew up to know it as. Um, so ever since that kind of shut down, E3's parent company was like, okay, let's try to kind of make this like reimagine what E3 was into this new program, which is this. It's called Icon, which is ICON. And they're saying that this is going to be a space where visionaries across industries can come together and imagine what's possible through interactive entertainment. So this already has Amazon Game Studios, Disney, EA, Epic, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony kind of all jumping in. Funny enough, Take Two, actually not that part. Ubisoft and Warner Brothers are also going to be there, but
Hmm.
they're the guys on struggling here. But I guess the thought here is, what do you think about all of kind of the studio heads of these like conglomerates and all these like key players going into a Las Vegas hotel ballroom and talking?
I don't want to
Uh,
see this happen. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it just seems like one of those things where it's like you have the people who are responsible for making like the worst decisions in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Like in a room, and they're like, dude, what if we did this? What if we did that? And it's like, it just feels like more shitty ideas would come from it, in my opinion. But
mhm.
I guess we'll find
Like,
out, you know?
but do you think there's gonna be more AI in gaming from this,
Yeah, absolutely.
or do you think they're gonna push for VR or something like that? Like, what do
Yeah,
you?
I think they'll absolutely push for AI and gaming to bring down costs across the board for these developers, things like that in these studios, and it's gonna take away a lot of talent. And I think it's gonna also like the thing is like they're gonna look the way these companies are run currently. They're gonna look at something. They're like trend chasing, and it's like we saw during the PSN like showcase the well, state of play, right? Like they had a bunch of like Elden Ring like Souls like games, and it's like or like Final Fantasy 15 games, and it's like okay, like this is a new trend chase. Like this is what people really want to try to emulate, and it just seems like a huge waste of resources and time. And I feel like a space like this will just encourage that behavior. You know?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, okay, yeah, I can just
Hmm.
yeah. So, like a silver lining from this was, like it was said that the reason why Kingdom Hearts even existed is because Square Enix and Disney in Japan shared the same office floor or office building.
Hmm.
Um, and so it just so happened that it was literally an elevator pitch where like two like a Disney guy and a Square Enix guy were in the same elevator. They just chatted, and next thing you know, we have freaking Kingdom Hearts. So I mean, maybe this is nice
Hmm.
to get like everybody kind of all buddy together. We might you might see some people genuinely excited to kind of talk about things.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be very interesting because Microsoft out here buying all these studios, and if they pull up, they're gonna be like the half the room is just them.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and speaking
Yeah.
about
Well, unfortunately, buying all these
Microsoft.
studios is not doing them any good, brother. Like, I don't know if you saw,
Yeah,
but
oh, look, I put the segue on the play for you, man.
oh, thank you, I appreciate you. They recently released their earnings report for, and this is the first earnings call that they had since acquiring Activision Blizzard, and they've released a Call of Duty in this time, all that stuff. So I'll give the summary. Microsoft gaming revenue has declined 7% and is down 8% in constant currency. Xbox hardware revenue is down by 29%. Xbox content and service revenue is up by 2%. And cloud gaming logged 140 million hours of engagement. And the PC Game Pass subscriptions are up by 30%. So I would say that Xbox is doing what it wants to do. It's achieving what it wants in terms of like getting those Game Pass numbers up and Game Pass usage information, like numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that I think them like cannibalizing themselves when it comes to like you need to sell consoles to be a successful game, like to be a play against like Sony and Nintendo. You know what I'm saying? Like the consoles like are a big factor in how much market power you have. And if you're a big studio like this, like yes, games are important, but you can't claim to be a giant and just release like just games. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying there aren't game giants that like release games. Like Rockstar is a pretty good one where they just release games, but I'm saying they're on a different tier. I'm saying if you're trying to be on the tier of making games and promoting consoles, then you need to obviously release consoles. But with their new marketing strategy of everything is an Xbox, why would anybody actually buy an Xbox? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think like so it's interesting, right? So like if we go back to I have to pull this up. Sorry, I have a cat in my lap and he is not happy. All right, buddy, you can go down. Like we talked about it, I think a week or two, or not a week ago. We talked about a couple of episodes ago where the number of it was like the the games of the year, like most profitable games of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. So let me pull this back up. Like technically speaking, like Microsoft has like so number 2 best-selling game of 2024, Black Ops 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, Modern Warfare 3, okay?
Yeah, that's true.
So they have like the two of the best sellers, two of the top 10 sellers, right? So like they might not even need to be in the market of making hardware, right? Because I think what's gonna happen is right. I think they are in like right now they're in the business of uh like not really like pushing the Xbox like hardware forward.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if they come out with um a handheld Xbox and you say Game Pass, a lot of people are gonna buy that. Like gaming right now is not specifically just uh like sit down on your couch and play, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
think Sony is like hyper fixating on that. Like um like if anything you can say that maybe they might start competing against Nintendo, right? Because like
Mm-hmm.
now like you're going to get a system get like a handheld system and um and compete against a Switch, which honestly I feel like they could pretty much do because like I feel like Nintendo is in like this like magic bubble like that somehow that they're like almost in like the Apple of how they make products and just move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Like not saying in like in a great design way, but like in the how are they still making money, right? Like to me, you would think that oh, like you're running on like a freaking PS2 mobile, like how are you still like how are you like top best selling console of all time kind of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but to kind of go back to my original point, like we're focusing on just hey, we might be like we're seeing maybe Xbox like kind of come out of its cocoon shell, and we're not liking the butterfly that we're seeing. That's like compared to like how everything we're seeing is caterpillars, you know. Because like if you think about it, Like Xbox, like I never owned an Xbox, but
Mm-hmm.
they got my money, they got your money, they got a lot of our friends' money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like that cloud gaming number is like insane. Like people are streaming games, right? So like
Right.
people are buying subscriptions and they're playing, like being able to stream their game on their phone and things like that. So it's like like and like the way I'm thinking about it is this, right? Like this cycle I think is like for whatever reason like did not nail things, like Xbox like missed the mark, right? But like I think if they position themselves like, hey, like we're gonna provide Game Pass on the PC. That way we're going, like you're gonna kind of go toe to toe, getting some market share on the
Mm-hmm.
PC, which like they didn't have before, right? Like arguably like people were laughing like, oh, why are you buying games on Microsoft Store? Now it's like people like it's kind of viable. Hey man, like I'm playing on Game Pass and I kind of want to own this game now. Like you just buy it on this platform. They're getting money there. Um, and if they want to, oh, you want the console equivalent? Well, you can only get that on Xbox then. Like if you want to sit down on your couch and be comfortable, okay, bro, like cough up the money to buy
Mm.
a Xbox. Like I think, because I think the part of the difficulty is that people like maybe it's hard to explain to people the value that Game Pass has. Cause it's just great to jump in. Like we have a whole segment. Is a gas on Big Game Pass, bro? You can find
Yeah,
like any
that's
game,
true.
right? Like I'm looking at this right now. Like okay, Frostpunk 2, Lords of the Fallen, Manor Lords, Dead Space 2, Prey, Forza, Avowed is coming out in like next week. Like there's all this stuff.
Yeah,
Dead
that's
by
true.
Daylight, um, Indiana Jones, Ninja Gaiden Black,
The thing
like yeah.
is, you're right in a sense that like, yeah, you can do all these things with Game Pass, and it is a different tactic. It's not a tactic we've seen before, and it is. It looks like it's working for them. The thing that I worry about, or rather, the thing that I wonder about, is does Phil still have as much pull in the company as he did before? The reason I ask is because it doesn't seem like it, in a sense that like he is, they're relying on Game Pass numbers. The Game Pass number go up, therefore like Xbox profit go up, therefore Xbox does, whatever. But realistically, right, like Game Pass as a service, like it doesn't require much from Xbox's point of view. They have to buy the copies of because the way it works is that they buy a pre-sold amount of copies to get a game on Game Pass. So like let's say you release a game and I'm Phil Spencer and say, hey, I would like to buy like 1 million copies of your game to put it on Game Pass from this date to this date on release or whatever, right? Um, then that's like their extent of the work they have for acquiring new titles on Game Pass, right? So my worry is that like if Game Pass doesn't do the numbers that they exactly want, does he lose say in what Xbox does? Because Xbox isn't selling as much consoles because you can play it on PC and all this stuff, and all their games are coming to PS5 anyways. So you know what I'm saying? Like, does that, because a lot of companies actually don't. So it's an interesting thing. They don't actually develop for the Xbox unless they can guarantee it gets on Game Pass. The
Mm.
reason being is because games that develop, like games that are developing, they have to ask like, hey, like would, or if they have to be approached and say like, hey, like we want to put it on Game Pass, then they start developing it for Xbox, or rather than they are like, okay, yeah, like seriously considering it. Because if they don't, then it's just not worth the dev time to build it on Xbox because it doesn't have that much of a market share, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense, yeah.
You know?
Like, so, because technically speaking, like, Phil Spencer is CEO of Xbox and Microsoft Gaming, right? So
Right.
it's not just, oh, like Xbox, the box is not doing well. Like, I think anything that Microsoft is doing from a gaming aspect, I would assume is probably under his belt. Like, I
Okay.
think Microsoft had like some AR stuff that they were looking at. They also had some like possibly VR. Um, so like I feel like it's a bit more than just, sorry, bro. This cat is wilding, man. Uh, it's more than just like, oh my god, like the controller, the box and the controller aren't doing that well. I feel like they're taking a stance that I think in the future will make them uniquely positioned compared to Sony, because like now Sony like before they had this huge thing of like, oh my god, game streaming, like they bought this other thing called like Gaikai or whatever. Like, and then the PS4, like they leaned very heavy into it with like PS Now, and then now
Mm.
they kind of shoved that in the corner, right? But I feel like they're like to talk about earlier that we said something we said earlier was that like, oh, like like gaming has kind of gotten saturated where like everybody that's gaming is gaming. But I feel like with what Microsoft is doing, they could possibly grab onto people that weren't their customers before, you know? Because now it's
Hmm.
easier because um now it's easier to kind of get people to jump over, right? Like it just so happens that like, hey, we can siphon money from people if they happen to have a PC or if they have a phone or if they have this, right? Like like Sony might not let you play games on your phone, like if you're like if you don't have a Steam Deck or whatever, right? Like, but you can do that on the Xbox. You know, I don't know. I'm curious to see. Like, I definitely get where you're coming from, right? Where you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like like, no, like you don't have you sold your Xbox to get a PlayStation. I don't have an Xbox. Nobody I know has an Xbox, and it's like I feel like consoles are very much a social thing, right? Like, back in the day, it was like, yo, you gotta get the console that everybody's got because like you don't want to be the guy left out. Like, you know, like, oh, everybody's
Yeah.
playing Halo and you're on your Wii. Like, what the heck?
I
Like,
mean, if you're if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck in terms of most availability, like I would say realistically, get like a PS5 or a PC is your best bet because I mean, besides Nintendo games, but like every game comes out on PC essentially, mostly, but every game, including PS5 exclusives, are coming out on PS5. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
that's
I mean,
you know, but not everybody
that's the
needs
view of
that.
it
So
now. Like, I will say, that Microsoft has had better eyes than Sony because they were the ones pushing for crossplay way early on.
what do you mean by better
Sony,
eyes?
like as in like Sony didn't want crossplay like early days in the Fortnite time, right? Microsoft and was like pushing for it, and then I feel like it was like I feel like it was an accident in the same way the Deadpool leak was an accident, where they're like, oh my god, like, yeah, I don't know if you know. Okay, so the story
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
a bunch of people were playing Fortnite, and all of a sudden they see like these weird looking names that you can have on Xbox, but you can't have on PlayStation. So a bunch of people were like, wait, what the? How did you have, I don't know, periods in your name or spaces in your name, which I guess is like a unique thing about like one of the platforms. Because then people found out like, oh, oopsie, by accident, crossplay got turned on, but turned off because Sony's a bad guy. So like, and Xbox was the one that was like pushing for crossplay to happen. So I feel like Sony has like built their castle and they don't want to leave. But like we're in 2025. Is anybody living in castles? I don't know.
I mean,
People
I'll be honest, bro. They don't have to leave if they're making all the money. You know what
I
I'm
know.
saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. But then, like, you have to kind of like it depends what side of the fence you want to sit on, right? You like
Hmm.
someone will be like, look, they're making the money here, but like, hey, they've been wrong about crossplay before. They've been wrong on like something like X, Y,
True,
Z.
true.
Like,
Yeah,
so it could be possible that Xbox just sees the playing field better than they have. Like, okay, fine, you can have this quadrant of the map. I'll take the rest of the 75% or something. You know,
that's true.
I
It's a
don't
good
know.
point.
Like,
Yeah, I guess we'll see where this goes. I mean,
yeah,
I'm using Game Pass. I will be keep continuing to use it. Like I want to play Avowed, and I'll use Game Pass
yeah.
to do it. So
You
Doom
know,
as well. So
it's crazy because I'm pretty sure they're gonna make a buttload of money right now. You wanna know why?
hmm.
Because the OG gambling machine is back. Overwatch 2 is gonna be adding loot boxes.
Finally,
Everybody's gonna be rolling for the skins, man.
bro.
Yeah,
This story is crazy because this is such a hard response to Marvel
Marvel.
Rivals.
Yep.
Marvel Rivals is currently eating their lunch like crazy. And their response to fix this and to get their players back and to maybe win people back is to introduce hero perks, a third person game mode, return of loot boxes, and they're also bringing back, or rather, they're implementing hero bans. All of which these things are things that were explicitly told, hey, these things don't align with Overwatch's vision, therefore we cannot do it. And yet here they are doing it because Marvel Rivals came in and said, oh, you can do it. This is how you do it. And they did it in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
this is such a funny turnaround. This is so goofy that Overwatch is like, oh, actually, everything is back. They're also making a 6v6 permanent mode as well. So it's quite literally just Overwatch 1 again, but without, you know, everything else.
Yeah, I will say I do think the skills like tree thing is interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
previously they were touting that Overwatch 2 is going to have this PvE story mode kind of thing where you can play as co-op, and you're going to have these unique abilities with a branching kind of skill tree XYZ. They kind of scrapped that whole thing, but it seems like they're bringing the perks into quick play and competitive, which um like I saw some of the stuff and it looked really interesting. Um like one of the things was like Anna could give herself nano boost and a teammate nano boost. Another thing was like Arissa can have like her original shield back where like she drops it on the floor. Um and like there's like levels there. I think it seems like there's like a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 for this stuff. I saw one from like Bastion where he's just like shooting like particle beam cannon like nukes at people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so they are kind of like tweaking things up. I think the one thing that's like big, you really had to do that for me is the third person camera
Yeah.
because Marvel
Yeah.
Rivals is a third person game. Overwatch traditionally is a first person game, so it's
Mm-hmm.
like okay, dude, why now? You want to like go bar for bar with these guys, but yeah,
Yeah. We'll see if it helps. I don't know. I don't know if it
yeah.
will, but you know,
Yeah. It's being touted that there are over 160 hero perks, which how many
that's a lot. That also
yeah.
adds a lot of complexity to the game in the sense that like it might take away from some of the reasons to why people play this game to where it's like, oh, like I know what these heroes do. I know how to play against like a, you know, a Reinhardt or like a Brigitte or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And the addition of this might make it more complex in that same thing with the league scenario to where instead of like a cast of like let's say 30 other characters you're dealing with, now it's like 30 times what? Times 2 essentially. It's like 60 characters now. It's like, okay, hold on, that's a lot more to memorize, a lot more to like plan around and think about. So this might hurt it, but I haven't played Overwatch 2 enough to like make a definitive decision or like say one way or another, you know?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think like like they're they're kind of obviously on like they got knocked down. We're looking at how they're gonna stand up, and I think any like I'll be honest, I think anything that they could have put out here, people are gonna critique, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's we have to kind of see how it's going to get received. This all these changes are going to be coming out on season 5, which starts February 18th, excuse me.
Yeah.
So that is about 5 days from now, which is like what, like next Monday, or I guess 2 Mondays. Shit, I have a calendar in front of me, bro. Let me just read it. 18 next Tuesday.
Next
It's gonna be
Tuesday.
coming
Yep.
out next Tuesday. Yeah, yeah. Which we'll see. Because like we can probably sit back and be like, "Oh my god, flop," but
If people play it,
like
people play it. Yeah.
they have to make a response, and like we just have to see what it's gonna look like. Because I think any response is gonna people are gonna critique before it comes out, right? So
Yeah. So we'll see
it's
where
like
this goes.
imagine if you're like, "Oh, Drake's coming out a new album." You're like, "Okay, flop. Oh my god, flop." I'm okay. I'm not a Drake fan. I'm just saying, right? Like it's Drake is in a very precarious situation at this moment,
Yeah.
especially with the Super Bowl just happening
Oof.
and the whole like freaking 70K freaking people, all the white people saying A minor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So we'll see where this goes. I mean, I'll keep an eye on it. I don't think I'm ever gonna play Overwatch again, considering how fun Marvel Rivals is. But you
nah,
know,
bro.
um,
Don't count your days. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. I bet you one of the guys in our friend group is gonna say, "Let's download it."
oh, absolutely. I'm gonna tell them
And
hell no.
what okay, I'll download it. Another one's gonna download it. You're probably gonna download it too.
No, I will. I refuse.
All right, bro. Don't hit us with the double V wallah, bro. Like
I will not go gentle into that good night. But
okay.
I just watched Interstellar, so that's why that's on. That's why it's on fresh in my brain.
Bro, I hot take. was not a fan of Interstellar.
Well, okay, I'm not having this discussion. It's such a good movie, bro. What the hell's
You
wrong
want
with
to know
you?
why? You want to know why?
Why?
The moon was not flat. What the heck, man?
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. You're right. It's inaccurate to the real life commentary we believe in.
Yeah, you know, actually, dude, I was enjoying the movie, and I was like, man, this movie's kind of long. The last 20 minutes made me like want to freaking flip a desk, man. I
Hmm.
got so upset. I'm not gonna talk about the. I'm not. Granted, the movie's like it's like 10 years old, man.
Yeah, it's pretty
Whatever,
old, but
but still,
you can't spoil it. Yeah.
I am not gonna spoil it. But I'm just saying that ending, like, whatever.
Well, this has been episode 12 of Beard Bites. Thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week with even more vibes, wives, and lives.
That's crazy. How you gonna wind it down without having closing remarks?
I'm
man?
not done. I'm getting there.
No, you were about. I would bet money that you had 2 more sentences left. Thanks guys for joining.
No,
You were about to
no,
hit us with that. You
no, no,
were.
no, no, no.
You were gonna hit us with that.
Maybe. What's your closing remarks?
Oh, dude, I can't believe this. Man. He
What?
wants, guys. Hardy wants to kick me and you out of his room.
I could mute him
guys,
actually.
the party's over. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's yawning. Oh, look at the time. That's crazy.
I want to play Civ. I'm not gonna lie to you, brother.
Or you could have played Save in the background.
No, I'm not doing that.
Why?
Because I gotta be attentive for this podcast.
Wow, that's crazy. And I'm not attentive.
You're playing with a controller.
I'm not, dude. It's been broken for the. Bro, I timestamp it. I said the cable was broken, and I have to go buy a new one. And I've been locked in since then. I can't believe you would say this.
Oh, that's true. That's my bad. But what are your closing remarks,
You know what, man?
Ahmed?
Closing remarks. If you ever Trader Joe's, I'm gonna say him. God damn, this guy keeps stepping on my toes.
Bro,
Closing
it's not my
remarks. If you
fault. You
live
keep desyncing with
next to
the
Trader Joe's,
Wi-Fi.
Hello?
Yeah, see, you're doing it again. It's not my
I'm
fault.
not can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. This shit's so scuffed, though. Go ahead, Trader Joe's, go.
Well, just leave it in, whatever. If you live next to a Trader Joe's, you better try the green dragon sauce. That's actually very fire.
Is that the one we had at your place when we came?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good, dude. Oh my god.
If you mix it with some sour cream or some Greek yogurt, actually low key lot game real quick. The Greek yogurt is just a more protein rich sour cream. So if you're ever making tacos, just use Greek yogurt. But if you mix that with the green dragon sauce, you get a very like very punchy, vibrant, like tangy, creamy jalapeno sauce. It's very good, very
a
lemony.
lot of adjectives on that one.
Well, it's a damn good sauce. That's why I'm trying to tell people about it, man. God damn.
Fair enough. Can verify. It's pretty tasty. I had it at Ahmed's place. It's really good.
Yes, and also, they trying to stifle the brothers, man, because they out here. They kicked us off of Discord and even on freaking Google Meet. It's tough. Like next thing you know, we're gonna do what's that?
Skype.
What's that? Omegle. We're gonna
Oh
be
my
talking
god.
about Omegle
Yeah,
next,
there
bro.
we go. Oh man. But thank you guys
Do you have any closing
for
remarks?
I don't know. I have no. Do I have closing remarks?
God damn it. This just tells me that you don't have opinions.
I don't. I'm a sheep.
Because you want the man to tell you what to think. Can't believe this, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think I have any closing remarks. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna play Civ 7. I'm gonna play Avowed when it comes out as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that like. It was something else that I really wanted to take a look at, but I can't remember what it was. Yeah, well, wasn't important. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you guys have comments, questions, concerns, keep it to yourself because I don't want to hear it. I'm just kidding. If you have any,
I would appreciate some concerns or comments. Just let us know.
Yeah,
because I mean we're here.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye.